Uh, Welcome back to Real Talk. We talk about real issues. I'm your host, ANAKINSKY. Hey, check this out. Let's talk about this philosophy, Black Lives Matter. Matter of fact, let's go deeper than that. Let's say Black Lives Matter, Hispanic Lives Matter, Mesopotamian Lives Matter, Jamaican Lives Matter, Indigenous Lives Matter, Aboriginal Lives Matter, Asiatic Lives Matter, Afrocentric, Akibanon Lives Matter. Just say Gaia, meaning all people on this planet, this melanated or pigmented lives matter. But as far as the Ku Klux Klan, neo Nazis, Aryans, supremacist hate groups, Freemasons, Ashkenazi Jews, and the Vatican, that shit does not fucking matter. The lives of the slave masters do not fucking matter. If I'm wrong for saying that, then then you would have to admit that either you're a sellout or you're someone that wants us melanated people to stay in slavery, a racist. Pick and choose, pick and choose. Because no lives matter as long as we pigmented, melanated people is in slavery to the supremacists, which references the supremacists' lives do not fucking matter. Because all of us need freedom and liberation from the supremacists. So, like I said, the Freemasons, Ashkenazis, neo Nazis, Khazarians, Esau, Dumia, Vatican, their lives do not fucking matter because they oppressed everyone else in the fucking world. So it don't fucking matter. Now, people say that's kind of harsh. Okay. Answer this question. Nat Turner. You think Nat Turner gave a fuck about the slave masters? No. Probably the reason we got some sort of freedom, right? You think Harriet Tubman gave a fuck about the slave master? Fuck ass no. Probably why we got some sort of freedom, right? You think Marcus Garvey gave a fuck about the slave master? No. That's probably why we got some sort of freedom, right? You think the motherfucking Crazy Horse gave a fuck about the slave master? No. Probably reason why we got some sort of freedom, right? You think Conquering Bear gave a fuck about the slave master? No. Probably reason we got some kind of freedom, right? You think Malcolm X gave a fuck about the slave master? No. Probably reason we got some kind of freedom, right? Do you think the Son of God, do you think God Himself and the Son of God gives an inkling of any respect towards the slave master that oppressed God's children? Probably not. Now, why would I say such things? Okay, this is where you guys start thinking about Revelation 13:10, Obadiah 1:18, Malachi 1-5, Deuteronomy 7:6, and Psalm 32 in the Holy Bible. Revelation 13:10, he lives in the captivity should go into captivity. He that kills the sword, will kill with the sword. Here is a patient for the saints. Okay, so all of us black, Hispanic, Native, and American people is saints who put us in slavery. The white man, like the Ku Klux Klan. So the punishment is what? Or over that when they say, uh, the, the house of Jacob shall be a fire, that's the house of Esau shall be spit stubble. There's a kindred with them and devour with them, and there should be none left for them out of Esau, the Lord spoken it. So Esau put all of us in slavery. Esau put us black, Hispanic, Natives, Aboriginal people in slavery. So that means that there should be none remaining of the supremacists like the Ku Klux Klan, neo Nazis, Aryans, Freemasons, Ashkenazi Jews, and the Vatican. Well, what gives us this authority? Oh, what gives us black, Hispanic, Native, Indigenous, Aboriginal people on a global scale the authority to have freedom? Well, Deuteronomy 7:6. But thou art holy and special people. So we holy and special. We probably need more than that. Okay. Psalms 82. God judge the aggressors of the mighty, O ye gods. I have said ye are gods, all of you the children of the Most High. Arise, O God, for thou shalt all nations. So all these nationalities of black, Hispanic, Native American people is gods and goddesses, kings and queens, prophets and prophets, soldiers and soldieresses. But I thought God loved everybody. Oh, you thought God loved everybody. Okay, not a problem. Well, that is wrong, by the way. Let me correct that problem. The Bible says in Malachi 1 through 5, the burden of the word to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yeah, but it's not Esau, Jacob's brother. Referencing the first white man known as Esau the Medumia, referencing like people like the Ku Klux Klan, the Nazi escape groups, they put us in slavery. Yeah, they're a genetic offspring of all of us, black people, Hispanic and Asian people. All of us were here on this planet before the white people, like motherfucking Donald Trump, before motherfucking the KKK, before Christopher Columbus, before neo-Nazi, before Aryans, before motherfucking anything. I'm a god, you a god, we all gods. The slave master that put us in slavery ain't shit. Let me continue on. Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Yeah, I love Jacob. Now, Jacob is us black, Hispanic, Native Indigenous, every people. We all Jacob. Yeah, he Esau. Esau is the one that put all of us in slavery. Last I checked, none of us put no one in slavery. Last I checked, Esau was the one that put us black, Hispanic, Native Indigenous, every people in slavery. Referencing people like Christopher Columbus, people like the neo Nazis, the Ku Klux Klan, the Aryans, the supremacist hate groups. Now they call them that right there. But before that, what did they call them? Oh, they call them pilgrims. Now I got to think about American history. They call them pilgrims. But what is the story behind the pilgrims? The pilgrims had a pilgrimage. That's what they call the pilgrims. The pilgrimage, well, who put the pilgrims in a pilgrimage? That would have been, let me think. The Vatican and Roman Italy, when they was forcing everybody to follow false doctrines. This is why y'all go to Sunday churches because before slavery, we didn't go to Sunday. We went on the Sabbath. The Sabbath is Friday night to Saturday night. We all learned that from the slave master. They was hanging all of us, raping us, kidnapping us, feeding our children to alligators, tar feathering us, putting us in reservations, putting us in plantations, throwing us out of our own nation, changing the name of Azerf to America, and putting us in slavery in every geologic location on the mankind. Releasing the fucking Trump 19 viruses, using us for medical experimentation, uh, when we had our own thing in Tesla, Oklahoma, the Ku Klux Klan was responsible for fucking, you know what I'm saying, Black Wall Street. When the United States government decided that minorities shouldn't have any type of fucking power or control of anything and so forth and decided, fuck us. Or when you think about, I'm part Cherokee, you know what I'm saying, Trinitarians and so forth, marching from the east to the west, down in America. Keep in mind, Cali and the Midwest is part of America. So essentially, what do you think I'm mixed with? So when the supremacists and so forth talk about border control, hey, that's my family. Me la familiar. El Galaxy Mio, El Pelatomi familiar. What if God said that? Funny part about it. You know what I'm saying? God created the heavens and the earth. He created the earth for our sake. So the God is his mind, the planet belongs to my family, right? So God created the earth for our sake, for all of us black, Hispanic, Native people. Indigenous means children of God. So those are indigenous. Like I'm indigenous. So when they talk about border control, damn, it means the fucking racist supremacists, you know what I'm saying, in power that hung us, put us on reservations, and put my ancestors in this situation. When they return, they're keeping me away from my own family. That's fucked up. So to tell me I'm wrong for things I talk about, well, doesn't the Bible say love God with your mind, body, and soul? So first of all, I'm supposed to love God. Secondly, I'm supposed to love my neighbor like I love myself. If I love all my people on a global stage, us black, Hispanic, Native, Indigenous, Aboriginal people, as we all gotta get classified on who we is, that make no sense. Why can't I just say Israel? Why can't I just say nomadic Hebrew? Or if it makes people more comfortable, say Hebrew Israelite. But I can just simply say nomadic Hebrew because nomads, a lot of people are familiar with the term nomad or nomadic. We learned this about the time we were in the seventh grade. Nomadic was the well people they moved around the whole entire world. Okay, so what did it, when you realize the history, how Adam and Eve started from the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden is present day Iraq. So creative civilization is in Iraq. So essentially that means we traveled from that land mass, which I said before Saddam Hussein proved it that the Garden of Eden was in present day Iraq. You can Google search this if you don't believe me. It ain't been lost to be short. You actually can Google map this shit if you don't believe me. You can actually go on Google Maps. Matter of fact, make it even simplistic. Just go on Google if you don't believe me. Just go on Google, type in simplicity is fine. Type in Garden of Eden is in present day Iraq. Then hit maps and watch what pop up. If you understand what I'm saying. Then you'll be like, hold up. Yo, that's facts. Exactly. Anyway, long story short. So when I sit back and talk about oppression and slavery and the enslavement of the slave master, there's nothing wrong with this. Think about this. Okay, everyone said, nah, the 12 tribes of Israel was in slavery. Okay, so it's black, Hispanic, Native, Indigenous, Aboriginal people was in slavery. Okay, that's it. There's 18 biblical tribes in the Bible. So six tribes put 12 tribes in slavery. That's it? No, it's not. Because 17 tribes went in slavery. How did 17 tribes go into slavery? Because one tribe, known as the Khazars, Esau, Edom, and Dumia, Edomites, referencing Neanderthals, which you consider as the modern day white man, like people like the Ku Klux Klan, neo Nazis, Freemasons, what's called them, what's that phrase? The phrase, Ashkenazi Jews from Germany, the Germans from Germany, the Germans were the first people to enslave mass slaves, the first people to separate everyone by nationality. The first people that enslaved everybody were actually Egyptians. If you would say that shit, okay, what's so fuck? That the Hamites enslaved it, black, Hispanic, Native Indigenous because we're all Israelites. So Hamites enslaved us. And who did the Hamites sell us to? Well, they sold us to the freaking Arabian government. The Arabian government is what y'all consider as Muslims, which had African slaves. And then I gotta think that Arabian government still has slaves because Mark Zuckerberg, a white man, but he owns Facebook and Instagram. I know, which means that he was connected with the federal government of America. I know, which essentially means that the federal government of America was allowed to have the Arabian government to sell slaves on Facebook and Instagram, also Google and Apple. which Google and Apple was responsible for studying artificial intelligence. Now Google serves this um, artificial insect. Artificial intelligent insect, artificial intelligence insect. This is going to be a reference to the philosophies of how the American government is taking insects and applying mechanics to manipulate the muscles of insects. Now imagine a world when they apply the radio frequency identification chips, which is a tracking device that they put inside of animals all the freaking time. But also imagine a world when they decide to put nanotechnology inside of humans and make machinery think for us. Technological enslavement. Or when you think about the research they use for cybernetics, but keep in mind and so forth, when you think about the internet, what is the internet for? What is a net for? A net is to trap things. Okay, what's a world wide web? A web is to ensnare things. Okay, so an internet, a world wide web controlled by the philosophies of the federal government of America or also the Australian government and other variations of governments with philosophies of enslaving every nationality. Then Google search if you don't understand what I'm talking about. Echelon is a phrase called echelon, Elchon. Echelon. Echelon is a spy network that essentially is why every cell phone tracking device, tablet tracking device, laptop tracking device, desktop tracking device, video game systems tracking device. This is why this shit happens. But hold up. Don't talk about video games now. Video games got nothing to do with anything. Okay, motion video gaming. What does that mean? Motion video gaming and so forth, they got cameras and shit. Okay, so well, essentially that would mean and so forth that uh, if they can access that, they can access whatever the fuck I'm doing anytime in the frame I'm doing what I'm doing. Essentially, that means and so forth, the federal government can access cell phones, laptops, desktops, tablets, video games, systems. Essentially, what that means is everything electronic with internet or World Wide Web technology, GPS systems, global positioning systems. The phrase global positioning system essentially means a tracking device. When you think back in the day, before we had internet, when it was just the government had it, we didn't have it. The government had. I mean, I'm 43 years old. Keep it real. I was born in 1978. Now, the federal government had a thing back in the 80s where they had files on at least approximately 100,000 American citizens, and we weren't even talking about people that was breaking the law. We just some old just random ass people. Nowadays, they got Facebook and Instagram on a global scale, which essentially means that the federal government has a tracking device system worldwide, maybe internet, to monitor every single nationality on this planet. As I'm recording this, and I uploaded it after I recorded, before I even uploaded it, they're already aware of what you'll find out what I'm just saying. Man, they don't give a fuck and they let me do it. They don't give a shit. Because all they're gonna do is sit back and say, don't listen to him. He don't know what the fuck he talking about. Because they know nobody gonna believe this shit. Yeah, we're smart to understand that. We should actually understand the federal government does not give a shit about none of us, and regardless of nationality. because it started with racism, which is essentially a speciesism, but nowadays it's financial. The government wants every nationality to stay in persecution so that the government can get paid off for every nationality, perpetuating the whole thing because of the Vatican. The Vatican is, well, think about this. Everything in this planet runs through the Vatican. American government is influenced by the Vatican. John F. Kennedy's assassination was because of the Pope in the Vatican, because he wanted to denounce his roots with the Vatican. So the Vatican made the Secret Service of America, well, the footage speaks for itself, but it was the Vatican that did that shit. And then I heard the rumors and all that. Well, Fidel Castro, which had nothing to do with it, because if Fidel Castro has nothing to do with it, then why would Fidel Castro, after 9/11, during the Katrina storm, offer to help rebuild the city of New Orleans? Yet George Bush Jr., the president at that time frame, allowed the people to drown because America don't give a shit about minorities. And Kanye West even said his own mouth, George Bush don't care about black people. He don't. And he didn't care about any other nationality. That's when he was Kanye. I don't know why he followed Trump. Kanye. But I ain't say that. Forgive him for that. Forgive me for that because he's getting back to himself. Forgive me for that. I understand. Punchline. Forgive me for that. My bad. Anyway, I don't give a shit. Listen, the point is, so forth, is the fucking federal government of America, so forth, don't give a fuck about minorities. When people sit back and say slavery was a choice, no, it wasn't. We should have fought back. Okay. When people say slavery was a choice and we should have fought back, keep in mind the first year of slavery was approximately 1619. All right? 1619 was the first year of slavery. Christopher Columbus came here in 1492. That's hundreds of years that we fought back against slavery. 400 years later, we're still fighting back against social injustice. That's 700 years. So when people sit back and say, we should have fought back against slavery, we fight, my nigga, we were fighting against social injustice for 700 years. Argue facts, not a get out your feelings. Get out your feelings. Get out your feelings. Get out your feelings. Argue facts, not opinions. Y'all, I'm out, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Listen, um, when I say, oh yeah, this is real talk. We talk about red shoes and so forth. You know what I'm saying? Leave comments. Tell me what y'all think about this. You know what I'm saying? Um, hit that subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. I'm out. Peace.